State-MPO-Transit Agency Coordination. Coordination of Transportation Performance Management, TPM, activities is part of wider transportation planning processes among state departments of transportation, DOTs, metropolitan planning organizations, MPOs, and operators of public transportation. This coordination helps maximize the value of TPM as a tool to support achieving national transportation performance goals. In this video, you'll learn about what must be coordinated, which noteworthy practices can facilitate coordination, and how coordination must occur. What must be coordinated? Topics that state DOTs, MPOs, and operators of public transportation must coordinate on: national performance measure data collection and analysis, measure target setting, and reporting progress for national performance measures. Coordination on target setting is likely to require the most effort. Jointly agreed upon written provisions on coordination. While partners have a lot of flexibility to determine how coordination happens, under federal regulations, they must have written agreements to document how it will happen. These jointly agreed upon written provisions can be added to existing metropolitan planning agreements. If developed as standalone procedures, they may be documented in some other form outside of the metropolitan planning agreement as cooperatively determined by the MPOs, states, and operators of public transportation. The jointly agreed upon written provisions must identify the roles and responsibilities of the states, MPOs, and operators of public transportation for carrying out federal TPM and performance-based planning and programming requirements. Jointly agreed upon written provisions must address which performance data is going to be used, collected, and shared, how targets will be coordinated and set, how performance progress will be reported, how progress toward attainment of critical outcomes for the region of the MPO will be tracked, and how data will be collected for the state's National Highway System Asset Management Plan. When the boundaries of the urbanized area or a metropolitan area span more than one state, a special single written agreement is required that includes all the affected states, MPOs, and operators of public transportation, including the process for how they're going to coordinate. Which noteworthy practices can facilitate coordination? Aside from the written agreement, here are some practices that could make coordination easier. Identify a lead in each agency for performance-based planning and TPM. This champion could be an individual, such as the Performance Management Officer, or an office, such as the Strategic Planning Office. In either case, this person or entity could have responsibility for marshaling resources, managing the schedule, and coordinating activities among the many groups involved. Find or create a forum for all the participants. This could occur through an interagency working group, through regular meetings, workshops, or even conference calls or virtual teams. Many states, MPOs, and operators of public transportation already have good ways of sharing data and planning for the development of statewide transportation improvement programs, STIPs, and transportation improvement programs, TIPs. Partners can build off those existing processes or create a new one. Schedule times for coordination. Partners may be able to piggyback on existing meetings, or you may wish to designate a new time to coordinate data collection and analysis, target setting, and reporting activities. The important point, though, is to dedicate times when all the parties can be involved, and to make this an ongoing process. Specifically, how should agencies coordinate targets? Under the TPM performance measures and transportation planning regulations, state DOTs and MPOs must set targets for various performance measures. Because coordination of target setting is a core part of TPM, FHWA has identified steps to help state and local partners implement a coordinated target setting process. Coordination of targets and strategies to achieve them helps ensure that scarce resources go toward activities that all entities agree can best achieve national, state, and local transportation goals. When setting targets, states and MPOs should consider using the following steps: identify and organize key partners, share data, understand baseline conditions, explore factors influencing performance, and establish targets. FHWA offers both an online and an instructor-based course entitled Effective Target Setting for Transportation Performance Management. Both can be requested from the National Highway Institute's website. While MPOs may either adopt the state targets or develop their own, in each case, both the state and MPO are required to coordinate to the maximum extent practicable to ensure consistency. MPOs may want to consider adopting the state's targets if they lack data or expertise in certain areas. Once targets have been established, states and MPOs should track progress toward those targets. That will help them program projects to support progress or to adjust targets. When should coordination occur? General coordination on data gathering and analysis should be a regular part of transportation agencies' performance management process throughout each performance period. For all measures, MPOs have up to 180 days from the time the state has established or adjusted its target to either establish their own or adopt the state DOT's targets. Multi-state MPOs have up to 180 days from the time the last state DOT establishes its targets to establish MPO targets. This will allow the MPO to consider all the applicable state targets that impact its metropolitan planning area. The MPOs and state DOTs should collectively develop and implement a mutually agreed upon coordination process so that both MPOs and state DOTs meet their respective target establishment and reporting deadlines. The requirements to coordinate on target setting to the maximum extent practicable help all parties achieve common outcomes. Coordinating data collection and analysis, target setting, and the monitoring of targets has great benefits. It makes the planning process more predictable and transparent for the public, promotes synergies between state and local stakeholders, and helps achieve national, state, and local transportation goals. Download the companion document with helpful resources on coordination between state and local partners at www.fhwa.dot.gov/tpm/videos.